Welcome back to Burn the Ship, the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs, professionals, can let you go all in on your business. I'm your host, Ezra Brown. Without further ado, I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves.
I'm Clayton.
And I'm Cameron. So we operate Aqua Life Construction and now Aqua Life Dock Shop, which you can see behind us. This is our showroom.
That's incredible. So kind of give us a little bit paint us a picture of what this journey's been like for you guys. As we talked a little bit over the phone, but let the people behind the camera kind of know this, where you guys came from and where you are now.
Yeah, so just a quick summary of my life leading up to this. I've done a little bit of everything from sales to various types of construction, and most recently I've basically spent the last 15 years working towards a career with the ODNR. I actually worked for Ohio Division of Wildlife and Fisheries for a while, and we started doing this stuff on the side. Clayton was a project manager for a couple of prestigious home builders over the last several years, and we've always done kind of some contracting work on the side. And we were pointed out, this dock and seawall work, and we both kind of really enjoyed it, and we were both kind of getting fed up with our careers and the way things were going, and wanted to make a little bit more money, take a little bit more control of our futures. And here we are, not quite 2 years later, and we've built an amazing business in that period of time. Two businesses. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Getting off the ground, the other one's fully underway. So.
No, that's incredible. And then so you guys started off with building docks and doing seawall restoration, I would assume, and then now getting into that retail side.
Yeah.
So what's that transition like? Going from both the sides of the world where you've been to now starting up a retail business on top of doing manual labor business.
It's definitely a shift. It's tough because, as a lot of people can empathize, finding people to fill a workforce right now is kind of difficult. A lot of people steering away from manual labor, which the dock and seawall work, of course, is a lot of that. And that's kind of always stuff I've been used to. So not a problem for me. Finding people to kind of grab a hold of some of these roles that we need filled, has been a little difficult. Going into the retail stuff, it's a world that I'm not unfamiliar with. Clayton's got a little bit of experience with it. But yeah, we saw a need in this particular area. We've got a lot of waterfront homes, and really not a good place for people to capitalize, on gaining access to the resources available to them. So, yep.
So that's a super specific, vertical inside of, a niche inside of a vertical like that, in that niche, what did y'all have the experience in the background doing that before, with the docks and seawall, or was that just kind of one of those things where you're like, we've got experience building and, in the contracting world, construction, so why not give this a shot?
We did, with my dad, we kind of got hands-on with the home remodeling, home repairs. Kind of a funny backstory was when we were working with my dad, he got into a bunch of different projects. We would get calls about different things, and one of the calls that we got was to build a dock, and that was kind of like the first taste that we got of building docks. And we did actually did a pretty big dock on Portage Lakes, built it, and after talking with Dad, we talked about possibly doing something called dock doctors. We even made a flyer and passed it around, and we ended up doing a couple more docks, but it didn't really take off. And the other calls were more plentiful, so our focus shifted away from the docks. But it's kind of neat to see this kind of turn back around, and for me, it was something that I was really passionate about. Docks are cool. They're unique. Not a lot of people want to work on them. Not a lot of people understand the physics working around water. Having materials that are in water, what works best, ice. So we got to play a little bit in it early on, and that it's kind of the first taste that I got, and the first thing that really settled my mind. The docks are pretty cool.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Because I grew up on the water. My aunt and uncle live on Lake Jackson here in Atlanta, so I'm out there a ton. So all that stuff definitely intrigues me, and it's definitely something that I didn't really think about. The physics of it and how that stuff goes into it. Because how you gonna get a pole to set in water and stay down there for that long? And then you're gotta come back and build it, and then retaining the sea walls and things like that. That's super cool watching them be done, because I've watched things like that for new construction homes. But it's very specific, and I think it's super awesome what you guys are doing. I'm glad you guys are kind of building it up and going, and especially this retail side as well. It looks like you got a super awesome shop behind you. People need to come check it out. But what would you say, was the hardest thing when you guys first started out on your own? What was the things that y'all were kind of struggling with, that was a little different than just being like the project manager or just being a supervisor?
Well, I would say I'll go first. The first thing I would say is being found. Nobody knows your name. You don't have a big presence out there. And that was, I'd say the biggest hurdle is just being found. Obviously you're leaving your career. You have to have a certain amount of money to pay the bills and a certain amount coming in. So it was probably one of the biggest things that made us nervous was, how are we going to get our names out there enough in the beginning to be able to make enough money to sustain and grow the business.
Right.
But we were able to overcome that pretty quickly with marketing and a couple different avenues. If you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I really give the vast majority of credit in terms of marketing, to Clayton here. That's kind of where his head really goes a lot of times. And, for me, I'm more of the nuts and bolts, and I like doing sales. I enjoy talking to people and, understanding what it is that they're trying to accomplish and helping them, come to an end product as far as what we're going to install for them. And, the dock shop was kind of part of that whole thing, because, it's hard when you're going up to somebody and you're telling them about this product and you're showing them pictures and things like that. You can even show them videos, and that gets so far, but, the dock shop allows us to kind of showcase what we can do, showcases the materials that we use. And we also had the idea, of being able to service the do-it-yourselfer type people, because, we're expensive. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
Do work, it's not cheap. We've got a lot of overhead, a lot of insurance. When you think about the insurance that goes into this, as soon as we started shopping that, it was, heavy equipment, working around water, welding, all that stuff. They're like, yeah, nope. So,
Yeah.
We got declined by 18 different insurance companies.
So
God almighty.
yeah.
Sheesh.
So that was a tough battle there, but so yeah, it's expensive. Get your average, middle income, low income family, they're not going to be able to afford to do what we do. So we know there's a lot of those people out there on the water, and we wanted to be able to offer something for them as well.
Right.
We can help them talk about like the way they're going to build the dock. So a lot of people have a question, how do you start about building a dock? And so we have the different pipe holders and fasteners, and we can kind of talk through a little bit about how you should go about building your own dock if you're going to do it yourself. And then we offer the materials if you want to go that route.
No, that's super awesome. Yeah, you guys got it going on.
Trying.
And then especially that, what would you say one thing is that what you guys lean on when you first started? Obviously, Cam, you said you did sales really well, and then Clayton, you said, really just getting out marketing. But that's what was that thing y'all leaned on?
Really, I mean, each other. I think that the relationship that we have as brothers is unique. More so nowadays than it probably ever was, back in history. But we get along well. We work together. We don't question each other, in terms of what either of us wants to do in this business. We kind of give each other a long leash, and it's working for us. We've worked together all our lives. We grew up on a farm together, and that was just part of life, was how to not kill each other growing up. So
Right.
yeah, and we had a lot of skill sets. You know, he was very much into home building, remodeling, you know, that kind of stuff, where I was more kind of you know, technical and, you know, dirt moving, heavy equipment type stuff, uh, welding, things like that. So we had some different skill sets when we, you know, diverged in life into different career fields, you know, that we were able to kind of bring back together here and, you know, really make this thing work.
You
No,
know,
that's super awesome. Especially working with family is super cool. I could definitely see that. If I had a brother or a sister, I would definitely enjoy working with them. I think that's super awesome. You know, just especially doing it now in life, it's opposed to doing it earlier in life. You guys have waited all this time instead of giving each other noogies.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But no, that is incredible. You know, paint me a picture. You know what? How you guys tried? How have you grown your business over the last 2 years? What's been those ways you've been doing it?
so it's been in this business in our market specifically, we don't have a, a lot of lakes. We do have a fair number, and probably more than most people would expect around here. But it's very important that you take care of every client. And really the biggest thing that we have to do is just answer the phone. You know, if somebody has a call or a complaint or a concern, answering the phone, because word of mouth is the biggest driver of business. You know, we can market all day long, but if the word on the street to say is not good, you're not going to last long. So our thing was service. Even when we worked before doing this, our thing was always service. And it's not something that we try to do. It's just something that when you hire somebody, you expect them to answer the call, especially after you give them a deposit. You know, you've given them your faith, and you expect that in return. So it's our biggest thing is service. Um, always answering the phone calls. If somebody's got an issue, we're going to address it. We're not going to hide from it. Um, and we want that to be um, the number one thing in our business. It's
Right.
always going to be customers first, and just do things the way that you would want. If I was going to hire a contractor, which I do, I've had my own issues with contractors, and as a project manager, I've had to hire contractors, and sometimes that can be a nightmare.
Hmm.
You don't know who you're
Most
dealing
definitely.
with. Yeah, and
More often than not, unfortunately.
yeah. So our biggest driver is word of mouth. It's one person telling another person, and that's really propelled our success. Our success.
So just to kind of elaborate a little further on that. So last year, you know, hit it really hard with our website and you know, doing some social media marketing and things like that. And that kind of got things rolling. Um, you know, this year's been interesting because we have not had as much return from Google and Facebook and things like that as we did last year, interestingly enough. Um, and more of our business this year, probably 50% or better, has been referral business. And we expect that number to grow massively as we go forward. But the biggest complaint that we hear from people, especially people that have dealt with waterfront contractors doing what we do in this area, is that they flat out don't answer their phones. They get absolutely fed up trying to track these people down to figure out, you know, what the timelines are on their jobs, you know, what's going on. Um, I can confidently say that anytime a customer messages me, calls me, whatever, I'm going to answer my phone, even to a fault. I drive my girlfriend nuts because it might be 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I got somebody messaging me about a project, and I'll oblige and respond. So
Man, y'all couldn't say it better, man. Because that is exactly how we are here. That's me to a T. You know, I was in Vegas all weekend, having answer phone calls. Somebody's calling me yesterday while I was getting on the plane. I was like, God, I'll answer, but I shouldn't be. I'm tired, I'm ready to go to sleep. But no, that is definitely something that has helped our business for sure as well, and that's something that every successful business I see and talk with, that's one of their biggest things is service and making sure they take care of people. Because if you can get people word of mouth referrals, why wouldn't you be able to get a referral if you stand up and talk in front of a group of people? Or if you're getting them from leads via that way, because you're going to talk to these people regardless and close that deal. But if you're getting them word of mouth wise, that's typically the best ones, because a high roller is not going to come pay you based off an ad. They're gonna get somebody that they know, like, and trust to refer them somebody that they like and trust. So that's definitely something That's super awesome, and I like the model you guys are working with.
Thank you.
And and you guys are perfect, as we talked on there about burning the ship. That's the name of our podcast is, and you guys had the perfect example of it. Fresh off of it. Less than 2 years in. What was that burn the ship moment like for both of you? Because I know it was different for each one of you, I'm sure.
Um, for me, I mean, it was wild because like I said, I had 15 years invested in my career. You know, 4 years in college, and then 11 years working with the agency, and you know, it's they call it security. Knowing that no matter what, I'm going to collect a paycheck. Um,
Right.
and you got benefits and all that stuff, and to walk away from that was certainly a tough pill to swallow. Um, it sounded a lot easier in my mind right up before the day that it happened. The people that I worked with at the Division of Wildlife were amazing. They're my family, still are. I go over all the time and see them, and we've actually done some work for them. At this point, so it was difficult, but I see the benefit in what we're doing, and I know where we want to go, and I see us on that road, very clearly, and I think, yeah, it's definitely been the best decision of my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's the same. You have a career. Mine was home focused, building homes. That's what I always focused on. Docks is a whole new thing. In some aspects, I mean, we did them on the side, but to go to that full time and not have the security of a guaranteed paycheck coming in, that was it's a big deal. And
Right.
but I would say to anybody else that's thinking about doing it is to do it. I mean, you have to put your neck out there, and you gotta do it. And once you pull that trigger, you're all in. You know.
Most definitely. No, that's super awesome. That's one of those things. I haven't had to burn the ship myself just because I'm in sales for somebody, but it's a company I've been around my whole life, so I like and trust these people. But it's one of those things where if that moment ever comes for me, that's why I enjoy having these conversations. 'Cause you get to learn from people that have already done it, and it could come from somebody that could be $5, as I told you on the phone, or somebody that's making $50,000 a day. It doesn't matter, and it's just all point in time where you're at and your perspective on success at that time. And I think what you guys is doing is awesome, and I wish you all the success in the world. And then I hope we can do this podcast, look back in a year, and be like, we doubled that income from last year, or tripled it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That'd be awesome. But not tell the people where to find you guys.
So you can find us at aqualifeconstruction.com. And also for the dock shop, the retail side, you can go to aqualifedockshop.com. We're also heavy on social media, so Facebook. We have a Aqua Life Construction Facebook page and an Aqua Life Dock Shop Facebook page. So those are probably where we spend most of our time. We're also on YouTube. We have a Aqua Life Construction YouTube page. That's doing nicely. We have a lot of videos, and we're going to keep expanding on those videos. So if you're interested in a port from Wave Armor, and you want to see how those boats drive on, and maybe some of the accessories that Wave Armor has to offer, it's a good place to go and just kind of indulge in the products a little bit and see what we have to offer.
Yep. And also our storefront right here, south side of Akron, Ohio. It's 3768 Manchester Road. We got a great location. We're right on the main drag here in Portage Lakes. So that's a great place to find us and kind of check out a little bit more of what we offer.
It's super awesome. You guys go see Clayton and Cameron over at Aqua Life. They're awesome people. We're going to have their socials down below, and burn the ship.